I'm going to tell you a story, but before that, I want you to know that your camera gear doesn't fail loudly, it fails quietly, and is the most painful thing to ever happen to any creator. A few weeks ago, I went to shoot a comparison video which I was going to edit for this channel. So I came back from the shoot, uploaded my stuff, connected the card to the reader, and I copied the first files from the first camera and then wanted to copy the second one. I connected it and then there was nothing on the card, which I found very strange. So I thought maybe there was something wrong with the connector. So I ejected the SD card reader, took the card out of the reader, put it into the camera, and that was the end. So when I put the SD card in the camera, this is the message that I got: SD card is forbidden. Usually when that happens, you go into the panic mode because you want to try your best and then save the content you created. Or if it's a shoot you did, you want to try your best to save it. For all you know, clients have paid, they're going to wait for the delivery. So in this video, I'm going to share with you gear problems no one really talks about. Not the obvious ones, the quiet ones that you only learn through experience. The first problem I'm going to talk about is obvious: memory card's failure. If you know how these things work, basically what it has is that it has a flash memory. So when you press on the shutter or on the button of a camera and then it snaps, it uses electrical charges to store data on the flash memory cells in there, and that's how you're able to retrieve memory or retrieve data from the card even when the camera is switched off. The thing about this thing is that there are no records or there are no indications telling you that this thing is going to break down or is slowing down. Unlike, let's say if you have a battery that's not working, your camera will let you know that the battery is not working, or you find out that it's degrading very fast. But with this, they just fail. There is usually no way to tell that this company's SD cards will last forever or this company's SD cards doesn't last forever. I've been using Lexa, I've been using Sony, I've been using Sandex for a long time, and whenever it fails, it doesn't matter. For instance, I have this Sony here which I was using for quite a time, and then all of a sudden it just stopped working for no reason, and it is 128 gigabytes of storage space, and I just lost the whole thing. It's no longer working. It's just sitting dust and just sitting and collecting dust. So there's no way to tell. It just fails. Another thing about memory cards is that most of them are usually made of plastic. So a small bump or anything that happens, mistakenly sit on it, it just breaks off or it chips away. And Sony cameras, for instance, they won't even allow you. The camera won't allow you to insert it because when you're inserting it, you will be hitting the bumps and all of that. And I promise you, when this happens, you may be tempted to push it inside and see if it's going to work. For the love of God and for the saving of your own money, do not push it inside. What happens is that if you manage to push it inside whilst you have an area chipped away, I have one here, I'll show you. I have one from SanDisk here, and you see that some part of it is broken. From the look of it, it looks as if you can insert this into the camera and it will work okay. When you insert this into the camera, the probability that you have another part chipping off or breaking off and falling into the storage space is like 98%. It will break and fall in there. And when that happens, you just tripled your camera repair cost because that slot is not going to work. And I have an evidence because the A7 IV that I'm shooting on had an incident happen. I didn't even know it was chipped off. I was just taking it out, putting it back, and then all of a sudden it locked. It wouldn't go again. I took it out, inserted a new card, and that's it. So at the moment, one SD card of my A7 IV it's not working. I've not even tempted to push another one into it. I've just left it like that, and I'm using the other two left. For the love of God, if you have any SD card with a part broken off or chipped away, get a new one. Do not try to push it in your camera. So the next thing will be, what will be the best ways to avoid this data loss or these things breaking off easily? What I usually do is that every year we do have discount days and then discount prices or discount seasons. For Christmas, for instance, you have a lot of companies bringing down their prices for you to buy them. If you're able to save up, at least get two every year for the type of work you do. Get two and then just put it down in case anything happens. You go back there and then pick your backup up. Also, if you're able to do dual recording on your camera, depending on the project you're doing, if you can actually record on two storages at the same time, or if you can do an external recording based on the project you're doing, try and then do that to save you the hassle. Another thing that I want to talk about is this: your shutter. At this point, I know you know what a shutter is. It goes up and down, closes up and down. That's the way you're able to take your picture. At any point, it will break. Sometimes you have cameras that will go for a very long time, over 300,000 shutter counts, but you may have a camera which under 1,000 shutter counts will just break. It happens, it's mechanical, there's nothing you can do about it. What do you do when this happens? You just have to go in and then have them repaired. This thing will just happen with no notice, with no forbearing message. It just goes down and that's it. So keep that in mind whenever you pick up your camera. Another thing that I'm going to talk about is files corrupt. Some time ago, I shot a video, copied everything is in storage, backups done, and then I decided to edit did you edit it? I didn't edit the video, and I picked the file. The file was 15 minutes long, put it into the editing software. I played about 2 minutes, and then I stopped. And then there's like this red screen. Thought maybe it was a problem with the editing software. Came back into the Windows, played it with a normal video player, and then found out that the file was corrupt. I don't know how it happened, whether it was during the transfer period or whether it was during the storage period. I don't know what happened, but it just happened. And I had to find ways to try and see if I could recover the file itself. And these things happen without your notice, and there's sometimes nothing you can do about it. Have this in mind if you're copying your files. Make sure everything is stuck in right. You don't eject the SD card, or you don't eject the storage point. Just like, make sure you go through the right process of ejecting cards, ejecting storage. Don't just yank them out. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is filters. In an area of work, sometimes you need to use filters to get the result that you're looking for. So you turn out that sometimes you use UV filters to protect your lens for one. Sometimes you use an ND filter to reduce the amount of light coming into your camera, just to go for the look you are looking for. But some of these things tend to be a problem. Through my experience, what I noticed is that when I started using some of these things, I used a UV filter on my lens, and during the shoot I noticed a flare coming into the pictures. At this point, I thought it was just a creative thing happening from the sun, or coming from the sun that is going through the lens. But at the end of the shoot, I noticed that it was the UV filter that was on the lens that caused all of this effect in the shoot. Also, I had an ND filter, ND2 to 4000, that I was using, and I used it for a video, which was superb. Everything worked that good. And then I wanted to use it for a picture. Whilst I was taking the picture, everything was in focus. You click, you hear the focus sound, and then I take. But when I came back to review the images, I realized that the images were very blurred. Not a single sharp image in all of the images that I took. And then I went out to try again and noticed that those blurred images were not caused by the camera. It was the ND filter that I placed in front of the lens that caused all the images to be blurred out. Whenever you're using these filters, make sure that you've tried them in both ways, both photos and then videos. If not, it may be too late for you to notice why you're getting blurred images. This is the end of the video. I hope that today you've learned things that wouldn't want you and would just fail on you. If you have experienced any of this, let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.